Hi, welcome to AP Biology Test Guide. This test guide is used to maximize your test prep. Just as a disclaimer, this test prep material is not sponsored by College Board. Please note that AP Biology is considered a registered trademark of College Board, and it's not involved in the development of any of the products that are listed in this presentation, nor is it involved in any of the products that are linked throughout this video. So let's talk about the test overall. Currently, at this time when this video is being published on 2024 through 2025, the AP Biology exam consists of 8 units. Units 1 through 8 range from topics like chemistry of life through ecology, and understanding the foundations of what topics you need to focus on, especially when it's around April and your test is around the corner. What is the best way to focus? And the focus should be these high yield topics that build upon each other. And for example, chemistry life, which is unit 1, is not really a strong point on the exam in terms of the percentage of direct questions they ask. However, the reason why unit 1 chemistry of life is often taught in the beginning of the school year or taught as unit 1 is because it builds a foundation upon other units. For example, you might talk about enzymes or cell-to-cell communication that is in, for example, unit 4, that is building upon enzymes, which are a type of protein. And so it's very important to have a strong foundation in unit 1. In terms of questions that are high probability, when it comes to direct questions, oftentimes we find that when it comes to cellular energies or cell structure and function, they tend to group together alongside with cell communication, cell cycle. So in the past, it's been probable that you could say unit 2, 3, and 4 are conjoined together, and cell cycle oftentimes goes along the sites of mitosis, and then you can go into meiosis, and then Punnett squares when it comes to unit 5. So know that unit 4 and unit 5 might be branched together as well. Further along, other than unit 4 and unit 5, we talk about gene expression and regulation, which is important to understand, for example, transcription, translation. So how to go from DNA to RNA to protein, the central dogma. Now, when you go further into the topics, Unit 7 and Unit 8 often get neglected in test prep. And that's because usually you're in a rush during the school year. If you're viewing this around April when this video is coming out, oftentimes Unit 7 and Unit 8 are rushed right before the test. And that should be noted, that there's a large chunk of questions that are given on the exam. Combined together, it's approximately 35%. And the reason why I say that they're combined together is because natural selection and ecology are often simultaneously grouped together in questions. So that's important to not neglect when you are talking about your test prep material. So let's take a look at the main sections. What is really covered on the test? And there are 2 main portions of the test. The first part are your multiple choice questions. And that's important because it allows students to really see how to answer questions with critical thinking. Free response allows you to build upon your knowledge and really comprehend certain words or understandings of certain scenarios when it comes to like diagrams or graphs or really being a scientist. So section 1 and section 2 can often be seen as a section that is broken down evenly. So they're each 60 questions, and 60 questions for the multiple choice and 8 questions for the free response questions. So that is what you're looking at for questions. Now, what I meant to say is when we're talking about what is the same, we're talking about the idea of the timing. Both sections are approximately 90 minutes long. And so that's important to note that both the sections are equally the same in terms of the timing and the percentage of the grading. So each account for 50% of your score. So if you're good in one section and not good in another, note that you can always compensate one for another. So that's important to note as well. Now, when we're looking at the scoring, the goal is to try to get a 108 or 150, which would be around a 5. So this is equivalent to what most schools take to really comp out of the biology course at the institution. Make sure to check potential schools that you're planning to attend to see what scores qualify you to remove yourself from being in the class. So testing yourself out of the class. Sometimes, depending on the program, they take a 4, for example. Now, we're going to go through some questions. So take a minute to read this question and we'll dive into the answer. If you want to, please freeze the screen. Okay, now that you're done freezing the screen, you can see that this question is based on a prompt. So oftentimes you'll see a small prompt in the beginning, and then it will go into a multiple choice question. So you might be thinking, what is the best answer here? And the best answer is C, secondary signaling molecule. And the reason why is it depends on your knowledge of the signal transduction pathway, which is a pathway that allows for multiple signals to carry along from the extracellular membrane, often using a receptor to guide a signal across several channels. So it's not usually necessarily dependent on one signal, but a pathway of signals. And you can read the reasoning below. Now, let's try another question to just test your concept on understanding what unit is being covered, just for the time being. Take a minute to read this question. You can pause your screen at this time. Okay, now that you've read your question, you now have taken the time to review all the answers. I do suggest to students, oftentimes you want to take a look at the question and see what concept they're trying to cover here. It's a very small question. Unlike the previous question, there is no prompt, which is why you can dive into this question a little bit more to understand. With the first question, it allows you to analyze the question, but once again, you are trying to look at the topic. So in that question, you were talking about signal transduction pathway, which is covered in a very specific unit. This one is trying to have you understand the differences between different types of cell and the parts of the cell, which comes on very early on, unit 2 or unit 3. And that specific unit is about the differences between plants and animal cells. And if you recall, plant cells have a different way that they handle water because of their cell wall, which mammals or animal cells don't have. So you're looking at that difference. So even after you read the answer choices, you can take and omit answers that don't fit the differences between animal and plant cells. So make sure that you do that. In this case, the answer choice is D because it talks about water transport, which is the understanding, and aquaporin, which is a fancy word. You might have not heard of it, but think water. So it's just basically saying that the plant cells exhibit greater diversity because they have a cell wall. And they don't really talk about that there, but it allows plants to uptake the water a lot stronger than animal cells. So if you're looking for more questions like this, it's a great opportunity, especially if the test is around the corner or you're starting the school year, to explore outside resources once reviewing the material. To do so, you can go ahead and download the specific packet that has the PowerPoint presentation listed here, along with hyperlinks to these 3 packets. If you're looking for multiple choice questions like you saw here, you can click number 1. If you're looking for free response questions, you can click number 2. And if you're looking for a combo of both, you can click number 3. Now, if you want individual free response questions or bundles by unit, you can go ahead and click this hyperlink here, and you can find all specific unit materials, which might be helpful, especially if you're a student that doesn't have a lot of monetary resource or just wants to check it out to see what we offer as an individual resource, and you can try before you buy. Thank you so much, and I hope you click the link below and look through our resources to really see if you want to take a look at our different bundle options for specific units, or if you're looking for more assistance in multiple choice, free response, or a combination of both. Thank you.